We're here with Luis Hernandez. He just moved to 7-0 at Combat Night, third round TKO, stays undefeated in his professional and his entire career. Luis, that was a crazy fight. Was that the craziest fight you've ever been in?
I'm not gonna lie, most definitely. That has to have been everything leading up to the fight and what happened in the fight. It was just I got to show everybody that I'm a dog, and I kept my 100% finish rate, which I'm extremely happy about. And I'm still undefeated, and I'm healthy, ready to go.
Now, I know immediately after the fight, you said you weren't completely happy with that performance. Can you kind of go deeper on why you weren't so happy with it?
So I know what type of caliber fighter that I am, and just things that I did in the fight were like no setups. I wasn't using my boxing correctly. I was trying to brawl. So another thing is, like usually happens to me in all the fights, the finish comes. This time I was like forcefully looking for that finish. Like every fighter looks for the finish, but I was just like, I'm gonna finish this guy. And I know his last, I think like three MMA fights, he hadn't been finished. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna finish this guy. And he had a lot of experience. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna run through this guy. Just gonna run through them, and just little mistakes that I made that I know that I have to fix, and I am gonna fix. And I know what caliber fighter I am, and honestly, I'm not gonna say it, but I do think the fight should have been stopped in the first. There's some things that happened in the fight, some illegal strikes, illegal glove holding, and coming into this fight, I was jacked up. I still am jacked up. I got some sinus infection. Not that I was tired, but it was hard to breathe. And I still feel it right now. I still have it. I went to the ER and they're like, "Hey, by the way, you still have a sinus infection." I'm like, "Okay, nice."
Okay, so a lot went on, but I do have to commend you because I mean that second round, like you had to survive through it, and you did. Even though everything surrounding the fight, and you saying that you have this standard for yourself that you wanted to meet. I mean, you still. I imagine you take something away from the fact that hey, you got in there and showed that you could take a shot and still win.
Definitely. And that's something that I like in the moment. I was just so disappointed because, you know what, you followed me before my career, and I'm just at such a high pedestal where I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm running everybody over, everybody.
everyone.
I'm like just bulldozering through, and I'm gonna continue to do that anyways. But it was just the fact for me that um I look at it now. I was throwing a jab and he countered with a perfect two down the pipe, and then these are like little mistakes that I made. That this is my seventh pro fight. I didn't watch any film on this guy. Um, I noticed after now, like watching. I've talked to my uncle, my dad. They watch film on him and they're like, "Hey, you know that all he does is literally go back and he's a counter puncher." So me, being me, I'm aggressive. I'm going forward, going for the kill always. Perfectly timed it. That I threw a jab and he countered with that too, and I was able to, overcome that, being rocked and survive. And still, I rocked him in the second round. There was points in the second round I still, was there, but I honestly, I needed that. I truly needed that because I'm able to show. Because there's fighters that get rocked and they go into
Yeah.
like a fetal position. They just give up. This was like I would say something that was needed for me to show. Hey, listen, you got to kill me.
Now, I do have to ask because obviously this fight was great, but prior to this fight, you improved to 6-0 in Vegas, and I'm just I'm looking at your resume, and you're a 6-0 pro fighter with all finishes, 5-0 amateur, all finishes. You had the viral 1 second head kick knockout. You had the viral moment with Sean Strickland, the reason that a UFC former champ got suspended. So I'm thinking the UFC looking at this, you have the resume, you have the ability, you've fought tough guys and beat tough guys, and then you have the virality. Like, why? There's no way they don't know who you are. I refuse to take that as an excuse. The UFC knows who you are. Why didn't you get the call?
No idea. And honestly, at my weight class, there's a lot of good guys out there. There is. I could name so like locally. You interviewed one of them. Look, Morrison's on the rise too. There's so many local guys that we can name from Florida that are on that like literally right on that cusp of getting the call, and we have it. And I don't know what's going on, and everything happens for a reason though. So if it happens where I get a short notice call, I'll take it. If I gotta wait a couple months now for contender, I'm gonna stay active. So I'm getting a little bit better from the fight. I should be back in the gym hopefully by the end of the week, and get back to it as soon as possible, and just staying active. Because what I've also noticed is there's guys with a lot better records than a lot of us in Florida. Uh, I think there was like a fight in Aries Fight League in France, UFC Fight Pass. There's a 170. He's like 10-1, and another guy's like 9-0. These guys are good, and they're not getting that phone call. So I'm like, what's going on here? So I think it's just a matter of time, and honestly, I'm just gonna keep getting wins and racking these W's up with finishes, and there's gonna have no other choice and be like, hey, we have to call this guy. So it's just a matter of time. I'm not. I'm still young. I'm still 29. I haven't even hit my prime yet. So I think it's just a matter of time and getting that. Once I get that opportunity, seizing it, and I just don't want to make it to the UFC. I want to stay in the UFC and make a name.
And you know what? That is important. So, like you said, everything happens to a reason for a reason. Maybe it works out better that way that you get there and you stay there because ultimately getting there is one thing, but of course staying there
Staying
is
there.
another thing. Now, with you staying active, of course, because in my head, I don't know what's going through your head. In my head, it was like a done deal that they were going to call. So I was kind of thinking like, are you gonna wait for the call? But I think I guess you realize, hey, you can't guarantee it. I'm gonna take this fight and stay active. What was that like mentally for you, telling yourself like, hey, I still gotta stay active regardless of what may or may not come my way?
So that's another thing that I've seen people get picked up with less fights. Some of the fights in contender, there was guys that were 6-0, some guys 7-0, some with less fights. At 170, there wasn't that many fights this season. Excuse me. But what I also know is I've also heard this from the about like the UFC. They look for activity. So this is my third fight in this year and three finishes. And now which is a benefit to me. I was just able to go to the third round, which everybody's like, "Damn, is Lewis, capable of going?" So I had not the last fight, not this one, was the second. Now I got into the third round, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
able to show that I could go past the first round, and I do have the cardio, and now I have a belt, and I am going to continue to fight. So it's either I get the call now soon, or I'm going to get the call later on, and I'm just going to keep getting these W's, and I'm going to keep getting my skill set and my portfolio up.
Now, as far as in the immediate plans, obviously I know you're recovering both from sinus infection and all the nagging injuries I'm sure that accumulate over
Yeah.
7 professional fights. Um, is the immediate thought defend this combat night belt? Do you want to go seek another belt? Are you trying to stay in Florida? Obviously, you fought out of state. What's that immediate plan for you?
So it's funny. I know that you had asked. I think Daniel the same question. Lately, there hasn't been much promotions down here in Florida. So
I've seen.
after the tight end head kick, all my fights have been out of state, and I actually don't mind it. I don't mind going into enemy territory, and it actually helps. So the way I look at it is, when I get that phone call for the UFC or any major fight out of town, I'm gonna be used to it because I have already fought outside of town, and I want to fight. I want to keep fighting. Hopefully, keep bringing like belts back. If it's to defend Combat Night, I'll do it. If it's to get a different promotion, a UFC Fight Pass promotion belt, um, honestly, I would love to have, I'll say 2 to 3 belts before I go to the UFC. I would love that. I would truly love that because I only got one amateur belt, and I really would love just to have the credentials and have the experience, because every fight is going to bring something out of you. And being able to say, hey, I'm a multiple time champion, different promotions, and being able to say, hey, look, I got this one, this one, this one, this one, this one.
Now, obviously, you have future goals, of course, but as far as where you're currently at, 7-0 as a pro, that's a lot of success. 7 finishes, your amateur career, a lot of success. At what point during your training and fighting career did you know you were capable of what we're seeing you doing?
um I would say there was a point where we had a guy come from the UFC, a heavyweight come from the UFC. Huge guy. This guy cuts down, I would say, from like 280, 290. And he fought in the Ultimate Fighter. And I believe, don't take it verbatim, but either he won or he was like the runner up on the Ultimate Fighter. And he was fighting in the UFC. This guy, I think, only had like one loss. I don't think he was either 9-1 or 10-1. Great wrestler. He came to the gym and we sparred. And like this was, I think, I was probably still an amateur. And I remember going with him the round, taking him down. This guy was like 290, and I was probably like fighting out with the time 185. I was probably walking around like 210. I took him down a bunch of times, ground and pound, head kicks, everything. And it was like, he asked after, he's like, hey, how many pro fights do you have? And I'm like, no, man, I'm still an amateur. And he's like, bro, he tells the other guy, which is one of my teammates, Michel Batista, he's like, hey, this guy's good. I don't really like, it didn't flip a switch till, I would say, every fight I've gotten better, but I think being tested, with like when I went to Vegas, that guy was 7-1. He
Yeah.
hadn't lost to anybody. He lost to a Bellator veteran. That guy was in the Ultimate Fighter house, and it was like that fight. I think it was like a little switch. It was like, yo, I got this. Like I get be put in like different situations, and I think this one too. Um, I think it's just um it lets me grow as a person, and every time I fight, I go, yo, I really am capable of doing this, and I know I should be in one of these big organizations in the UFC, and one day it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time. It's not, if it happens now in a couple of months, it's just a matter of when.
Well, I think I want to say for me, there's a couple guys you watch and you see, and it's like, okay, you can kind of tell like this guy has it. And sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. I think most of the time I'm right, to be honest. I put out videos so we can actually fact check if I'm right or wrong. And I'm pretty sure I hit at a pretty
Yeah,
high rate. And I believe it was your XFN title fight. I want to say Riley Boomer was his name.
yeah,
That's correct. Okay,
yeah.
my memory serves correctly. When I saw that, I watched that one on pay per view. I was like, this guy is going far. Like from that, I could tell. So I just that's why I asked because I'm like I want to know when because I could tell from then that was just insane. Um, Now I want to ask about your schedule. Obviously, you're a police officer, so that's a
Yeah.
very demanding role, and add a very demanding professional athlete career. You're managing two careers that take a lot, I'm sure, physically and mentally. How do you balance that?
So that's another thing. Like these are like things that a lot of people don't know, but little mistakes, not real mistakes, but this was the first time in a long time I didn't take any time off for the fight. So I actually went to a call day before the weigh-ins of an officer involved shooting. I'm there and I'm like, everybody's like, yo, what are you doing here? And I was just like, the whole week I worked. And it was just something that I learned now, that I'm so far in this game, 7 fights already, that I need to take time off before the fight. Definitely. And things have changed a little bit at work in a good way. But before I was able to train a lot more. So now I'm still being able to train, but I got to use more of my time. So it's a little bit hard to balance it, but it's I'm able to do it. Like Jacoby Smith, perfect example. He's a 170 in the UFC, multiple time All American. He's becoming a firefighter. Now I did it backwards. I got into law enforcement. Now I'm, continue fighting. But why not me? The way I got to think about it is, hey, if they're able to do it, I should be able to do it too. Now I just have to do it smartly. I gotta balance everything that I have to do with work. staying up to date on everything, and still getting my 2 sessions a day, finding a way to either be a little bit tired when I wake up and get an early morning run, or work out a lift, and then and the nighttime get a good session in, or vice versa. It's difficult, but I know I can do it because I've been doing it, so might as well continue to do it.
Hey, I see the work you put in. I know it's a grind, but obviously at this point you've proved that you're built for it. Now, going
Yeah.
forward, are there any fight? I mean, of course, we love the call outs in MMA. We love to hear them, but um, are there any fighters that interest you, whether it's 170 or 185 going forward, that you want to fight with?
Honestly, I've never been the type. I don't. I usually don't call people out. You know what's crazy is that I want to bring this up, and I forgot who I think I told, but it's like every single time I have a fight, I've never called anybody out, and then the last 3 or 4 fights that I've had, no, 3 fights, I've had opponents fall out like even my first pro fight. It's like, how do you prepare for who? I didn't even know who I was gonna fight. This time around, I found out about a week and a half or 2 weeks before the fight. My opponent blocked me, blocked the promoter, blocked everybody. Like, this guy had 17 fights and he just blocked everybody. So I'm at the point where right now I don't call people out because I'm like, "Ugh, I don't know. It doesn't really call my attention. I'm focusing on myself and getting ready. But I know there's a couple people have been saying my name, and if we meet, we meet. I'm glad to sign that contract when they send it over. So I don't have anybody specifically I'm gonna say, but I know that we'll be active. We're gonna continue to be active.
Okay, that's the Lewis I know. Always ready to fight anyone, and I think you definitely subscribe to the idea of opponents, not enemies. I've seen that definitely with you.
Yeah, definitely. I keep it it's all peace and love here
All right,
till we're inside the cage.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't look very loving in the cage.
Yeah.
Lewis, where can they follow you?
So my Instagram is Luis Para Ti. So I don't know if we put it here down here, and then I don't have Facebook. I don't have any of that. I just got TikTok recently. My fiance put me on TikTok, so I don't post any videos yet. I'm just going through. I'm just going on the motivational videos and food videos. I'm just like food, food, food. But yeah, I use just Instagram for now.
Okay, perfect. Follow Lewis on
Yeah.
Instagram. Make sure he gets all the followers and love he deserves from his last win. Lewis, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much. Glad to be on the show again.
Yes, sir.